And hello everybody, and we're live from Premier Sims Gaming League for the Mexican Grand Prix. Welcome along, my name is Irsolix, and you're joining live coverage of round number 10 in the Formula 5 World Championship. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're just about to get set for qualifying action here at the Autodromo Herman that I just met. I completely botched that name, I bet you. Bet you I botched it. We're already off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us live right now. We are just about to get set for short qualifying action, and it's down to be a good one for sure. The championship could not be closer, ladies and gentlemen, heading in to round number 10 in the championship. But Devin3043, the leading VER driver in the championship, racing for Haas F1 team with 74 points. Mike K back by 8 points. It's an 8-point gap in the championship. It cannot get any closer. Dertamo is in there in the lanes, though, back by 11 points to Mike K. So there is a possibility he could possibly leapboard into it. We still have this round plus 2 more to go, so there is a possibility. But at the right now, it's looking like Mike K and Devin are the 2 finalists here for the championship, but it is still very, very close. It is so also close in the Constructors' Championship. Haas with Quicksilver and Devin with 102 points, with Renault with 94 points. That's Alpha ACT and MMA Slash. It's a very interesting dynamic, given that Renault, 2 drivers who are not in the top 2 in the standings for the constructors, actually not even in the top 3 for the standings in the championship for the drivers, are very much in the constructors battle right now. An 8-point gap between both teams in the constructors championship. It's France versus America, it feels like, in terms of constructors battling. We have 15 drivers on the grid, a little bit less than normal. It is towards the end of the season. You do tend to see a few drivers fall off, but all the drivers that are right here are passionate for racing, they're passionate for Formula 5 action, and they're ready to get underway. The engine is roaring there in the Mercedes garage, and I believe we're about to see a driver come out. I believe that's that is the Williams carriage, never mind that. Though we do have some Mercedes coming down the pit lane. And let's see who that is. And of course, it is Mike K, a driver who definitely needs to pick up the pace. He definitely needs to have a good result here today if he has any shot of winning the championship. Again, back by 8 points in the championship. It's not a lot, but if you do not get these pounding results ahead of your championship rival, you are never going to make up enough of a gap. So he definitely has to have a good result here today, here at the Mexican Grand Prix, a track which is so very difficult to navigate, especially in the second sector, the dreaded S section, which has caught so many drivers out recently. And watching Twitch streams of drivers practicing for the race here today, it was a doozy for some drivers to get all those S sections right. And let's go up a bit, because I believe one of the Renault drivers, MMA Slash, who's on the lead outlap, is going through that S section. You can see there, clipping some of the curves, trying to sling the car around the track, making sure not to overextend your line, or else you're going to have an invalidated lap. Let's bring up the whole track map there. And of course, my favorite third sector of the entire Formula 1 calendar, the stadium section here at Mexico City. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The short qualifying action is about to begin here in Formula 5 in PSGL. Let's get set for action. Across the line goes MMA Slash to start his lap off for the Renault F1 team, looking to secure points in the Constructors' Championship ahead of Haas F1 and put themselves first in the championship as he comes down in towards turn number 1. Another tricky sector 1 right here, clipping a bit of the curb on the inside right there, cutting a little bit of the grass on there for the Worksman crew. Later on in the day, we'll see if he can keep it a little tighter towards some other laps later on in the session. Again, a DRS straight right there, and of course would be a fastest sector 1, but it is going to be quickly beaten, I am afraid, by a few drivers behind him, as that was not a very fast sector 1 right there for MMA Slash. But we'll see if he can put together a good lap right here and possibly put himself high up on the grid. Possibly even a top 5. MMA Slash, always a driver who has really challenged for the championship at times. In this moment, he's not going to be setting lap time at all. That's an invalidation. A driver who's always been putting in very good results. Unfortunately, a few results not the case in some particular races where he has really struggled. Here is Quicksilver in the Haas F1 car, looking to put in some good points for the American outfit. as he is coming through the third sector. In fact, he's about to finish up his lap. He was the second driver in that first queue of cars. Mike K is going to set the pace, though, right now, as he sets a 1:13.3, and that is definitely a time we're going to see tumble a little bit as drivers continue to set lap times here. Going back with Quicksilver, he's coming around the final turn. He comes across the line, and he is going to go second fastest. So 1:14.9 is the time right there. Still, we expect to get into the 1-minute 12s here at Mexico. And Jules goes with a 1:13.6 for the Racing Point outfit, which are looking to secure a few more points ahead of the Alfa Romeo team, who is missing one driver. LRB and Jules are both present here today. Unfortunately, it seems Spaghetti Chips not able to get here due to an error with his wheel. Unfortunate for him, but that's going to be even more unfortunate for Cortez, who's going to be a one-man band there at the Alfa Romeo crew, and I'm not too sure what's going on with LRB. He's out of the race. He's been disqualified, so LRB has been disqualified from qualifying. I'm not sure what happened. He was stuck on track, pretty much standstill. I presume that they kicked him out of the session due to the fact he was standing still on track, but have no idea what happened there unless there was a technical fault of his own right, but that is not what Racing Point needed. Again, as we said, going to have an advantage tied right now with Alfa Romeo. There's Cortez, who has an invalidated lap right now and almost lost the back end of the car. Racing Point, which needs to have a good result here today if they really want to put some pressure into the top four. Sorry, even the top three, actually, is they're right now in fourth position, though tied with Alfa Romeo. They can't do that if they have drivers like LRB disqualifying themselves out of the session. Again, we don't know what happened. There might have been a technical issue. Cortez is going to come around again for another lap. We'll see if he can set one faster. At the moment, pole position is Tim Wentic, though. He has a 1:13.1. And again, we're expecting drivers to hit into the 112s in this session and put themselves higher up on the grid. Lewis, who we definitely know can put in some major pace, is unfortunately not setting a time just yet. He's still in the pit lane. Plebs as well, still in the pit lane. Cortez has invalidated this lap as well. So that is it for this particular run. He's going to have to go on a new set of tires for sure. Tire degradation is a very big problem here at Mexico, and drivers are going to probably try to do a one-stop from the soft to hards, but it's going to be a struggle. I suspect most drivers are going to end up doing a two-stop strategy, soft, medium, most likely, as the tire degradation here is extremely difficult to keep under control. And you can see there Cortez already feeling the effects of some worn soft tires right there, almost losing the back end in the S section. So definitely going to have to keep it a little tighter there. There is Lewis out on track right now on an out lap. Behind, it looks like Quicksilver right there as he cuts the grass a little bit there in turn number 1. Sector 1, a bit of a doozy given how tight the track is in the first sector. Drivers will find it difficult to get around all the apexes and get back to the next apex. You tend to go deep in one corner and not deep enough in the other, and that tends to compromise your lap times. So I'm just going to ride on board with the F5 lobby so we can just see exactly all the comments coming in. Thank you, everybody currently joining us live right now. Again, you're just watching Round 10 action here at Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. There is Lewis getting ready to start his first lap of the day. Not really anybody on any laps. In fact, nobody is on a lap at the moment. MMA Slash is back out on track after invalidating his first lap, and we'll see if he can improve this time. Quicksilver is about to start another lap. Let's see if he can improve. Only sitting 10th at the moment. His teammate Devin sitting in second. Devin, crucially, ahead of Mike K in the standings right now in qualifying. Of course, higher than him in the championship. Again, 8 points that gap right now in the championship. So we'll see if Mike K can improve as he starts another flying lap. Devin's still in the pit lane. We'll see when he gets ready to go for another lap. Let's ride on board with Lewis in the AlphaTauri. And that's the fastest first sector for Lewis. So already on the pace right now, the AlphaTauri driver. A driver who we know has F4 pace. Many of the drivers saying he should have been in F4. And I'm not too sure. It looks like he had an invalidation somewhere. He might have cut too much of the the outside curb trying to come into the turn. Unfortunately for Lewis, that's invalidated his lap. A rather peculiar place to have an invalidation. Usually it's the S section that unfortunately faults many drivers, but Lewis this time, unfortunately, has been caught out by the entrance into the S section. That's a fastest second sector for MMA Slash. Are we going to see our first 1 minute 12 in this session? We're about to wait and see. Oh my goodness, MMA Slash almost losing the back end there, clipping the curb a little bit too much. He's about to sling it around the final turn, and we're going to see the time come across. It is going to be a 1:13.4, so a little bit of a sloppy third sector for the Renault driver. That's only put him fourth. Probably was looking to go a little bit higher. And I'm assuming Lewis is going to try to go for another one. And yes, he very much is going to go another one. A big lockup, though, in the turn one. Keeping it out of the grass this time, though, which is probably ideal. Back onto the DRS straight. Definitely going for another lap. Got in hot lap. We'll see if he sets another fastest first sector. Of course he does. It's Lewis. We definitely know he has major one-lap pace. The big problem for him in this season has been the overall race pace. We've seen a few mistakes from Lewis this season. Lewis definitely a driver with the outright pace to fight for a championship. We just have to see him corral some of that race pace together and hopefully put in a good charge for a championship. And we definitely expect him to see new heights later on in his career. Definitely a driver to watch out for. But right now, we're going to see if he sets pole position here today. It was not a fastest second sector for Lewis, though, so he may have had a bit of a problem for the S section. Looked a little uncomfortable for Lewis. Coming through the final turn right here, we'll see if he can go faster and across the line. And yes, Lewis with a 1:13.1, still not into the 1:12s, but that is currently provisional pole position with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left to go, just about in the session and counting. You're watching live coverage of Formula 5 action here. My name is Irish, and I'm going to be commentating the rest of the qualifying and the race for you, ladies and gentlemen. And I am talking as much as I can. I'm very excited for this race. The battle in the championship is at a all-time high. And right now, Devin currently sitting third on the grid. He has gone a little bit faster in the second sector right there. He's coming through the third sector right now, looking to improve his time. Can he put it on pole position here? It looks like it was about a 10th and about a third. We'll see if he can improve, and yes, he does. Into the 1:12s, and it's a 1:12.8, and that is provisional pole position at the moment for Devin, leading the charge right now and looking to increase his championship standings here. Mike K has moved down to 5th position because of it, though. Dertamo ahead of him. Tim Wentic still in 3rd position. Lewis, of course, improving up to pole position, has dropped down Mike K. Matt Tebos goes 5th fastest with a 1:13.9, and that has moved Mike K down to 6th now in the grid. He still is on an out lap, so we will have to wait and see if he can challenge to go a little bit higher on the grid right now, but it's not looking too good for Mike K in the Mercedes as he comes around the final turn to start another lap here in qualifying. 6.5 minutes left to go in the session. Still plenty of time to make it onto pole position. So looking with LRB, and just looking, we want to have tires fitted and telemetry, even though I always feel the telemetry clogs up too much of the screen, but nonetheless, there it is. The tires, everybody's currently on the soft tire. If we look at the best times right now, Quicksilver actually has set his fastest time on a medium tire, though he's all the way down in 13th, so he may want to fit on a set of softs, which in fact he has done so on this particular outlap. And LRB saying, I lagged out, but AI was stuck on first corner and I got DSQ'd for being still. Moral of the story is not to use BT internet. I'm not too sure what the references of BT is. I'm in the States, unfortunately, but I'm sure it's not too good. Mike K, though, has improved in the second sector, but it's not by a whole lot, and I don't think it's going to be enough to put himself on pole, but maybe etch himself into maybe the top 4. Let's see how the third sector has gone. It looked a little squirmish, and actually he's going to go into the pit lane. We did see him start to lose it a little bit in the third sector, and unfortunately, Mike K will not improve on this attempt. He's going to go into the pit lane and wait for one more try at the end of the session. Jesper's had a problem. He spun it coming out of the S section. You think you're out of the woodworks, out of the danger zone, the place you don't want to be, and unfortunately, he has spun it coming out of the exit. TFA Jesper on that soft compound tire is going to want to improve that one. He's going to probably have to make a pit stop, given that those tires are going to be well worn. And he does, in fact, make that pit stop. Quicksilver has invalidated this particular lap. I'm sure he'll go for another one. Cortez is on a lap, and he is locking up those tires right there. A lot of poof of smoke coming from the tires as he's slinging it around the track, and he is still on a valid lap coming out of the exit of the hairpin. Now coming through the S section. Let's ride on board of Cortez. Can he keep it within the white lines, and can he keep it fast? Maybe a little hesitation coming towards the exit, but he keeps it okay. Sector 2, though, was fastest, so never mind my commentary right there. He is on a roll right now, Cortez, looking to maybe put himself on pole position here today. Fastest Sector 2, that's where all the big time is gained. Let's see if he can handle it in Sector 3. Looks to be pretty good. Back on the power. Coming across the line. Here we go, and it is going to be best for 4th fastest. So for Cortez, it's a mega lap time for him, and that is big news here as Jules only sitting in 10th position near the end of qualifying, and his teammate LRB has been, of course, disqualified for being still on track. Of course, a technical issue for him, but that does mean that Alfa Romeo still very much keeping up the fight against Racing Point. And with a track like Mexico, it can be both easy and difficult to make overtakes here. So we'll see if things get okay, and Cortez can find himself scoring some good points for the Alfa Romeo outfit here, putting them ahead of Racing Point. But here comes Jules, and we'll see if he can connect a good lap together. Meanwhile, let's ride on board with Devin as he's on an out lap right now, and we are going to see, with probably going to be the last attempt for him, unless there's an invalidation, for him to get himself any faster. 112.8 is the benchmarker. Lewis has invalidated this attempt. We'll see if he goes for another one. There's Cortez going into the pit lane. That will probably be the end for him in qualifying. Sits 4th at the moment by about 1/10 of a second. We'll see if he can keep that. Dirtamo, Matt Tibos, and Mike Kay are drivers who will definitely challenge that position, though. May see Cortez drop a few places. Mike Kay has just not had a great qualifying session here in Mexico. He's only sitting 7th right now. And he's definitely going to want to improve that a little bit. Both McLaren drivers go ahead of the Mercedes. Matt Tibos and Tim Wentic, those two drivers, looking for a good result here for McLaren. Of course, Matt Tibos had a absolutely gut-wrenching puncture at the end of the last race in the United States Grand Prix, and that stole any point possibility for McLaren. So Ferrari has jumped ahead of McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. If we look down at the Constructors, it is Ferrari now in 8th position, jumping Ollie Flavel, the only Williams driver. Such a shame. But McLaren, we'll see if they can have a rebound here. Tim Wentic currently sitting 3rd on the grid at the moment. MMA Slash, apologies, has gone 2nd fastest, 1:12.9, the closest time so far to Devin. Let's ride on board of Devin, though. He's coming through the 2nd sector, though. He has gone a little bit slower. No, actually, he hasn't. Sorry. It is actually fastest in the 2nd sector by about 1/10.5 of a second. So Devin looking to put himself further ahead, fastest on track, and solidify his provisional pole position right now in F5, coming around the final turn with a minute left to go into session, and it's going to be a 1:12.7, and it's fastest on track, and its provisional pole position solidified even more so unless somebody puts in a mega lap time. Riding up, Mike Kay's had an invalidation already. He's going to have to gun it around track. He does not want to be caught out here in 8th position, now 9th position, as drivers continue to improve. Gilles up to 6th right now. Cortez has been dropped down to 5th due to the fact that we have a new man in 2nd position. Lewis is on an out lap right now. We'll start his lap rather soon. Tim Wentic is on a lap time right now. We'll see if he can improve his time, put himself maybe in pole position. Ooh, a little bit of a snap from the rear, and that's invalidated his lap time. And that's going to be bad news because he was not thinking he had to save up any ERS. And unfortunately for him, he'll try again. He's got some help maybe a little bit ahead of him from one of the drivers right there, maybe getting a little bit of slipstream. Ollie Flavel's retired. He's sitting in 11th. He may drop down position. He still has some drivers behind him. So MMA Slash is done with the session. And we're just riding on board with Devin right now as we're going to see. No, Devin is done. Devin is done with qualifying. So he is good to go. Well, he set the fastest time already, so I'm not too sure why I'm being so excited about that. Mike K is done, though. He's in the pit lane. He didn't even attempt another lap, and that's 10th at the moment, and it might go even lower right now. He's almost outside of the points, and if somebody improves enough, we may see him outside of the points. Disaster in the championship right now. If Devin stays there in first and wins it, Mike K not even score points. Another horrible race it could be possibly for him. The United States Grand Prix did not yield a lot of good results. Here comes Plebs around the final turn. Quicksilver does not improve his time, stays 14th fastest. Here comes Pleb in the Red Bull, and he is going to improve, but not enough to improve anymore. Here is Alpha AZT, and I think this is, he might possibly improve his time. Is he going to improve it enough, though? No. In fact, he's going to go into the pit lane. So Mike K survives and stays in the points, but only by one singular point. But it's Devin who has secured pole position here today in F5. A mega lap time from him at the end of the session, and he puts himself on pole by about 0.2 of a second. So a great lap time from Devin into the 112s, one of the only drivers into the 112s, MMA/ matching him. So it's great for Devin in the Drivers' Championship. It's not so great, though, for Renault in the Constructors' Championship. But it's also not so great for Haas in the Constructors, as we see MMA/ there in Devin. First and second, of course, Haas and Renault. Their other two drivers did not get into the points here in qualifying, so they're going to want to improve that a little bit if they look to get any faster. But nonetheless, there's Tim Wentic. He sits third. And it looks like somebody needs I'm not sure if LRB needs an invite. I don't look at the Discord. They try to have me invite them. And there is rain coming in the race, so I did not look at the chat there. They didn't tag me on that particular occasion. But there is rain in the race, so that is going to throw things in the mud possibly for Mike K. Of course, it is very difficult to make overtakes in the rain. That could spell disaster. Okay, so LRB is saying he needs an invite. I'm going to try to get him into the lobby here. I believe I have LRB on my friends list. But let's see if we can get him in here before the start of the session. No, I don't think I have him on my friends list. That's not good. How many LRB 05s are there? There's none. There's one. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to get right back there. I just need to confirm. Yep, okay. So we're going to get him in there. I know the session has started. It was about to start. I did get the invite in just at the right time. I hope so that, no, I don't believe LRB is going to be able to get back in due to the fact he didn't act, well, no, he is on there. And we're under racing right now, so intermediate conditions is the rainfall right here. There's your predicted pit stop strategy, either a 2-stop or a 3-stop. So we'll see which it is. Yeah, I sent you an invite. Hopefully you can get back in. Nonetheless, let's go over the starting lineup for the race here. 36 laps here at Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. And it's Devin on pole position with MMA/ in second position. Truly a battle right now in the Constructors, and it's those two leading it. Tim Wentic sits in third, Lewis in fourth, fifth for Jesper, and Cortez in sixth, seventh for Dertamo, Jules in 8th position, Matt Tibos in 9th, VER Mike K in 10th, Ollie Flavel in 11th position. Alpha AZT sitting in 12th, Plebs in 13th, Quicksilver down in 14th, and LRB, who does not look to be yet in the lobby, I did send the invite out, sits down in 15th position. We'll see if he gets control of his car before the start. Didn't sound like the invites were working, unfortunately, so I hope we're able to get him in. Oh, is he in? No. Unless he's paused. He might have just paused to say, thank you, go. Very, very good goat right there, that goat graphic. Nonetheless, I'm focusing a little bit too much on the comments section, ladies and gentlemen, but nonetheless, we are about to get set for action here. It is VER Devon, who's about to line up on pole position with MMA Slash in second, Tim Wentic sitting in third with Lewis in fourth position. There is your top four. Can Mike K have a good first lap, which is really what he needs? And look at that camera angle. Thank you so much. Isn't that great, guys? Look at this camera angle they're giving us. I can see everything right now. Oh, my goodness. There's MMA Slash. A little bit better action from the director's booth right there in the... Right there. There is LRB lining up. I'm not... Again, his car is still ghosted. I don't know if he's able to take control on the formation lap. Nonetheless, let's get ready for the 5 red lights here, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just waiting for them to come on. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting. There is a little bit of a... I'm not too sure what's going on. Where is the 5 red lights? Everybody's here. I'm hoping it's not... It might be LRB. I'm not particular. I don't know who is having the problem with the connection, but we are waiting. The engines are probably overheating. They would have all probably blown up by now. We're waiting a little bit too long. I don't know what's going on in the electric red lights booth, but it's not working out right now for them because we are sitting. We're waiting. I'm not too sure what's going on right now. Tim Wentic, and we got a whole host of different camera angles we can look at possibly, but nonetheless, 16,000 RPM collectively across the grid is waiting and getting ready for the start of the race, and I can't think of too many more things to say before the start of a race. This is the dramatic wait for the start of the Mexican Grand Prix. I'm not too sure what's going on here. Maybe we're already racing. Lobby glitch. We gotta restart it all. Well, there's your protected pit stop strategy. Oh, wait a minute. No.